Welcome to Speak for Yourself, presented by Hyundai. No hats today.
Tomorrow I'm coming in straight backwards.
Well, what, a size 9? They don't even make them. Mitchell and Ness, hook them up. Marcellus Wiley in the building, Emmanuel Acho in the building. Okay.
I haven't shot all my new shoots, so you're just going to keep seeing new suits.
Really?
New suits.
Do you really want to swag wars? Like, do you really want to go there?
Hey, I'm going to go there.
All right, Twitter.
Fight that fight.
Get ready for it. Well, for the next 2 hours, we'll be right here. So let's get it started with the Lakers, who are coming off a Game 3 loss to the Nuggets and will try to bounce back in Game 4 tonight. LeBron James and Anthony Davis combined for 57 points, but it wasn't enough in the loss. LA is up 2-1 in the series, but they're facing a Nuggets team that came back a record 2 times from 3-1 deficits in the bubble. Yeah, I know about that. So, Acho, are you confident the Lakers bounce back tonight, Game 4?
Absolutely. I'm not worried about this game, man. I learned from my mistakes, Marcellus. Series 1. Western Conference, the Lakers are playing the Blazers. I was like, oh, my God, the Blazers won a game. The Lakers are in trouble. And then everybody was like, Acho, this isn't football, bro. Sit your behind down. You just got here. In basketball, you got to win more than one game to win the whole dang thing. So now, after the Nuggets won one, I'm not freaking out. I learned from my mistakes. I learned to the more educated folk who schooled me up. See, I'm the type of guy, Marcellus, you don't have to tell me the same thing twice. Okay. You tell me that one time, I learned my lesson.
One time?
One time for the one time. I'm not worried.
Okay.
I think about it like this, Marcellus.
I'm listening.
Game 2, the Lakers dodged that bullet. But they didn't have to learn a lesson because they dodged the bullet. So Game 3, they learned the lesson. Remember when I was that kid. I was that bad kid running through the house. I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest of 4. And so I don't learn when I'm told. I learn when I'm burned. Early on, I was about 6 years old. My mom, she says, Chinadu, that's what she calls me. She says, Chinadu, that's my middle name.
Chinadu?
Chinadu.
Okay.
She says, don't touch that stove. See, but I ran by the little kitchen, and I touched the stove, and it didn't burn me. So the next day, my mom says, Chinadu, don't touch this stove.
Chinadu, stop.
Well, it didn't burn me yesterday. So I run into the kitchen, I touched the stove. Mommy. I got burned. What happened?
Oh.
I ain't touched the stove again.
Not again?
See, the Lakers Game 2.
Okay.
I said, hey, don't turn the ball over. Hey, get on the boards. But they didn't get burned because AD. Game winning 3, not a big deal. Well, Frank Vogel, Game 3. Hey, get on the boards. Hey, don't turn the ball over. Coach, we got burned. The Lakers have learned their lesson now. Game 4, I ain't worried about it.
Over there look like Penny on Good Times getting burned up like that. Chinadu. I wish I was around when you were a little one. Chinadu, I'm that dude. Mama would have called me that. Look, if you're the Lakers right now, if you're anyone associated with the Lakers, even in just your adoration for the Lakers, be concerned. Because it's interesting how you say you've learned because you've been burned. And one of the old adages, Wileyisms, is a fool learns only from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from others. Damn it, Lakers, you should have walked into this series already learning from your next-door neighbors, your building sharers, co-tenants in the Clippers. Learn who you're going against. And let's talk about this in a combative way. Styles make fights, and usually that is coined for only the fight game. But let's take it from the fight game and bring it to the game of basketball. Because it's not just a fight game. I learned this personally. Prototypical tackles, 6'5", 310, nothing for me. It was those fire hydrants, the ones I ain't see coming, the little 6'2", 330s, little chunky monkeys. I was like, you little fat chunky. I couldn't get under him. He had leverage on me all day and all night. So I used to hate that. Styles make fights, young Acho. You know what the style of the Denver Nuggets is?
Talk to me.
Let's take them into deep water. Deep water. Deep water is when we're going to stretch this one out. We're going to prolong this. We're going to test your endurance and your skill level over a long stretch. Because the Lakers like to go into a series and throw them one-hitter quitters. Okay, we got, lose game 1 and then right? Ding, 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 ding. Lose game 1, ding, 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 ding. Now they're against a team that's going into deep waters. Last 4 series for the Nuggets have went 7 games, and they've won 3 of those. Now, in the Lakers, are you prepared for deep waters? You think you are, but I got numbers to say that you're not. Okay, right now, let's start, first of all, with the chosen one and LeBron James. Full screen king right here. LeBron James, we all know you can never question his conditioning, but Father Time is undefeated. Look at the 40-minute playoff games by the years. 18, 19, 18, 6, 16, 12, 13, 15. Then he gets the shortest season ever because they didn't make the playoffs last year, get a break. And this year, one. Interesting. Only one. Why only one? I wonder why. Maybe it's because he knows I can't go as long as I used to go. Okay.
Don't cook the books, Marcellus.
Don't cook the books?
Don't cook the books.
I'm glad he said that.
He cooking them.
You
Salt,
ready? Tell me.
Tony Chachere's.
Tell me how much am I cooking right here when I say watch the throne, because you want to talk about LeBron. Full screen king 2.0. First quarter LeBron. Ooh, that's amazing. Second quarter LeBron, amazing. First half LeBron's amazing. What is happening in the third and fourth quarter to that same LeBron James who doesn't even want to play 40 minutes a game anymore except game one against Portland in the first series? Clutch LeBron is a donut. You know what I'm adding up? Not cooking the books. The reality of this is the Lakers know that their winning formula is to get in there and get out of there fast, to stay in shallow waters with their drinking umbrella in it. The Denver Nuggets are taking them deeper than they want to go. They will continue that tonight, and that's to the detriment of the Lakers.
Here's my problem, Marcel.
Oh, you didn't say I cooked those books.
No. Here's the issue, because while my head is too big for a hat, your head is clearly not too big for one of those white chef hats that they wear before they get into the kitchen.
Chef Boyardee.
One of them Chef Boyardee hat, okay? Because you just took the salt, you took the pepper, you took the garlic powder, and you started saying, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Let me stir this all together to cook these books. Here's why you're cooking them. Marcellus, the Lakers are 10-3 right now in the playoffs. Great. They were 10-2 prior to taking that last L. LeBron doesn't have to play in the fourth quarter in half these games because he's blowing cats out. Remember, they blew the Rockets out. They won their last game by 25 points. They won the second to last game by 10, third to last game by 10. The Lakers are blowing teams out, so he's not worried about playing in some of these fourth quarters. That's why I'm saying you are cooking some of these books.
Acho, in game two, it was a buzzer beater. They were down. He didn't go to the 40-minute mark because he knows that's not the winning formula for our team. They don't trust their bench. Here's the pickle. We don't trust our bench, but we can't put LeBron out there 40-plus minutes anymore. I'm telling you the truth, coach philosophy. So in game two, when you know you need LeBron, he still didn't play 40. Game three, you're down. He still doesn't play 40, and you lose that game. That's not cooking the books, brother. That's using your brain. Let's bring in somebody else who uses their brain to the fullest. Fox NBA analyst Chris Broussard. So, Chris, settle this for us. You confident the Lakers bounce back tonight, game 4?
Well, first of all, let me give a shout out to Acho for that subtle and soft shout out you gave me when you said those that had schooled you on basketball. So I appreciate that, brother. I know I was one of those people you're talking about. But I got to side with my man Acho. What? Marcellus, you are cooking with oil.
Not oil.
I mean,
what else is supposed
game
to cook with
2,
butter?
LeBron didn't play 40 minutes. They were up 15 in the second quarter. They didn't need LeBron for 40 minutes in most of these games. They won their first 2 series in 5 games. And you want to talk about deep waters? As if LeBron James can't swim? As if LeBron James don't know how to tread water and do his thing in deep waters?
With this
Let
team?
me take you back to Golden State.
Oh, I knew you were going to go back to history class.
Down 3-1 against a 73-win team. He loved the deep waters. Let me take you to Boston, to San Antonio. Legendary franchises and teams. LeBron down 3-2. All the pressure in the world on him to win the championship.
Where else we gonna go?
He loved the deep waters. So that don't cut it here. Look, for suspense, for drama, for intrigue, for spice, I would love for Denver to win tonight and make this thing really interesting. But I picked the Lakers in 6. And Lakers gonna win tonight. Denver's gonna win game 5 and get us really thinking, here we go again. And then the Lakers will close them out in 6. LeBron James knows he wants to come out and make a statement tonight because he hasn't put his imprint on this series. I'm looking for him to do that tonight. And AD was caught up in the fog of that big shot after, in game 3. But now he realizes I can't get 2 rebounds. So he's coming out of the fog. So their 2 superstars gonna have big games tonight. and that spells doom for the Denver Nuggets.
I guess y'all only did well on tests that were multiple choice because y'all like, damn, I don't know the answer, but that got to be it right there. So you just guess and hope. I don't play that.
Always pick C.
Hey, pick six does work. I don't play them kind of games, brother. I walk into there fully prepared for these arguments. Here's the thing. LeBron, game 2, you talk about he didn't play 40 minutes, but he's used to deep waters. How did he perform in game 2 in the fourth quarter? Ooh. Okay, let's go to game 3. How did the bench perform in that game? Ooh, and that's the pickle. LeBron, if we play you 40 minutes, you're not performing the same when you play in the third and fourth quarter. We don't play you 40 minutes. We can't trust our damn bench. You know who gets the second most minutes in the fourth quarter for the Lakers? It ain't AD. It's Alex Caruso. When the last time he been in deep waters? When the last time Alex Caruso been in the playoffs? Oh, never. So you fall into the trap that Acho falls into.
No trap. Wait,
you
no trap,
keep
CB.
telling me how great LeBron is, and that's an echo to me because I think LeBron's the GOAT. He's the king. He's the greatest, the best swimmer we've ever seen. But he's used to swimming with different partners on different relays. Now your running mate, AD in name and game, but when it's crunch time, it's Alex Caruso, Kyrie Irving, not in the building, Dwayne Wade, not in the building. So every time you give me great LeBron deep waters, he had a lifeguard or a life raft, someone he trusted. Y'all trying to tell me y'all trust Alex Caruso to go out there and save the day in the fourth quarter against a Denver Nuggets team that's going to take you 7 if they have their way? And if they do, they have a history together. Not LeBron on other teams. Nuggets together where they will overcome all adversity.
Marcellus, this is an easy multiple choice test if you want to say that me and CB, we aced our multiple choice test. Because typically, CB, on a multiple choice test, when in doubt, you ought to go with C. You got to go with C when in doubt. But it's just what you A, B, C.
I thought you go D.
No, teacher not going to make it A because that's just too obvious, right? A, the answer right there.
Okay.
And so it's always C.
Oh.
But on this multiple choice test, you know, after you get past D and E, you see all of the above, or sometimes there might be an F. Choose A and D. On this multiple choice test, it's easy because I'm choosing A, D, Marcellus.
Oh.
That's what it comes down to.
See that.
Is that one simple person right there. AD, 2 boards. Marcellus, that's an outlier. Won't happen again. That is very easily correctable.
Is it?
You think Jeremy Grant is going to come out here and have another career playoff all things high?
Not saying that.
He gave him 26 points. That's what the Nuggets needed to get that dub. Here's what's going to happen tonight. LeBron James, he's going to talk to them boys. He's going to say, hey, KCP, I need something out of you. Rondo, I need something out of you. Kuz, I need something out of you.
Point stop.
I don't need you to be a hero. I don't need you to be spectacular.
Or 0.
I just need you to be good. Marcellus, the Lakers shot 26 from 3, 26% in game 3. That's not going to happen again. So here's the thing. Kick them while they were down. The Nuggets did that. Great job. You stole that game 3. That's not going to happen again. Stop hoping and wishing on prayers. Stop hoping and wishing on luck. And I need you to enter into reality, Marcellus.
Living on a prayer.
Look, Marcellus,
Yes?
I get where you come from.
I
picked
thought
the
you
Lakers
did.
too. You're a I picked the Clippers. You're a Clippers fan scorned. So you're looking for under every nook and cranny for something to criticize LeBron and the Lakers about. You gonna tell me AD can't be trusted as a dog to run with LeBron? He scored 10 points in the last few minutes of game 2.
I didn't say that.
Not to mention the beautiful step back 3. He's arrived, brother. He is there. LeBron trusts him. The Lakers trust him. He is going to come back with a bounce back game. Mark my words. And Acho's right. Jeremy Grant ain't doing that again. Come on, Marcelo. Simple as that. The role players for the Lakers have been good for the most part. It was an aberration the way they played in the last game, 6 for 26 from 3. But 2 of those dudes, KCP, Markieff Morris, Danny Green, Kyle Kuzma, playoff Rondo, 2 of them will step up and have big games, or Caruso. And that'll be enough because LeBron and AD gonna bring it tonight.
Wow. Chris Broussard, I don't know what time it is where you are right now, but you don't know what time it is in reality. Let's break this down. I didn't say I don't trust AD. I think AD's a dog, top 5 player, most unguardable player we have in the league when Kevin Durant is hurt. I respect AD. Problem is, Frank Vogel don't trust AD because Frank Vogel ain't putting him out there in the fourth quarter like he's putting LeBron out there or even Alex Caruso. How the hell does Alex Caruso get more minutes in the fourth quarter than AD? I digress. Half the dudes you named that LeBron gonna have to say his old welcome to the NBA playoff speech to, Acho, wouldn't even make the Denver Nuggets rotation. You're gonna go up to these dudes and say what to who? Michael Porter Jr. is looking at y'all like, I ain't even had my game like that yet, homeboy. And Kuzma out there with his minus 14, and y'all talking about he's the third star. I don't want to hear all of these excuses. Oh, Jeremy Grant ain't going to have another career game. Excuses. You know what's funny? Whenever you have a PR or career game, the next one probably is not going to be better than that one. But that doesn't mean you're still not going to have contribution or you won't have a minus 14 like the third star on the Lakers is. I'm just trying to let you guys know your confidence is sounding like arrogance because you're thinking that the Lakers are going to be able to put purple and gold uniforms on the court and the Nuggets will fold. I learned the hard way. I am speaking from that painful experience. I thought that we were just going to overmatch that team. They got a dynamic duo, lesser than the Lakers, but a stronger supporting class that is going to swim deep and deep. And I don't know how many of the Lakers really want to swim that deep.
CB, now let me see my dog. Don't mind Marcellus, Broussard, because Marcellus, he believes it. Your experience is what, Marcellus?
Your expertise.
Your experience is your expertise. And Marcellus is big on talking about his scars. And his scar about the Clippers, it still hasn't healed. CB, so pardon Marcellus because he's still picking at this scab, this Clippers scab. Marcellus still picking at his scab, and he don't realize these Lakers are not the Clippers. Okay, Marcellus, again, I'm just going to bring you back to reality. The Nuggets won Game 3. Clap, clap. They won Game 3. But again, it was a statistical outlier. The Nuggets out-rebounded the Lakers in Game 3 by 19 boards. Game 2, Lakers won the rebound battle. Game 1, it was tied. The Nuggets had their game. They had their chance. Congratulations. I'm happy for them. But it's not going to happen again. Stop banking on, again, you know this because you went to Columbia. You're a smart man. When you look at a graph, you look at your x-axis, you look at your y-axis, and you just look at the graph right there. You see some points that deviate from the linear trajectory of the axis. They deviate from the slope. Those points are called outliers. What we saw in Game 3 was a deviation from the linear axis in which the Lakers are taking to a championship. Those are outliers. The Nuggets, Game 3, was an outlier. It is not the standard trajectory that the games are going to go in.
I'll say this. Look, whenever you say this to an opponent, your confidence is seeming like arrogance. That means you getting rocked. That's what Deontay Wilder said to Tyson Fury. Your confidence is like arrogance. We knocking you out lefts, rights, here and there. That's all it is. You know, Lakers. And I got to end with this, though. Marcellus, I hope you're right. Because I want some drama. I want a 2-2 series. But I do think the Lakers are going to come out and take a 3-1 lead. And Denver will not be just where they want to be. This is not going to be the Jazz. This is not going to be the Clippers. This is a different animal. They will go down tonight.
In my closing remarks, sticking to the fight game, because I covered that fight. It was an amazing fight. LeBron sounds like he got rocked a time or two in this series. Maybe it's just because he's swimming in deeper waters and, you know, it's starting to affect his brain. LeBron James, after Game 3, comes out and says, hey, we got to watch these turnovers. The turnovers is killing us, man, the turnovers. LeBron, I hate to remind you, but when you had more turnovers than the Nuggets, you actually won that game. But when you had fewer than the Nuggets, oh, my God, you lost that game. Which way is up, LeBron? Oh, I forgot. You don't know because you're in deep waters. Coming up at the top of the hour, Cam Newton and Dak Prescott are both going to get serious dollars this offseason. But we'll tell you which quarterback we rather pay. But first, Dak is facing the Seahawks on Sunday. We'll tell you if he can outplay the red-hot Russell Wilson next. Speak for Yourself is presented by Hyundai. Ding, ding, ding.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself, presented by Hyundai. Let's move to a huge matchup Sunday on Fox with the Cowboys heading to Seattle. Oh, I can't wait for this one.
Yes.
Dak Prescott's coming off one of the best games of his career with 4 total touchdowns in Dallas. They had that comeback win over the Falcons. Y'all remember that. While Russell Wilson is showing why he's an early MVP candidate. 9 total touchdown passes, only 11 incompletions on the season. My God. LeVar's back with us, but Marcellus,
yes, sir.
You up first. Would you be shocked if Dak outplays Russell Wilson this weekend?
No, I wouldn't be shocked. Nor would I be surprised. Matter of fact, I'm expecting Dak to go in there with full confidence and potentially outperform, as you said, Russell Wilson. Had that boy looking like Russell Wilson out there.
Wow.
Sierra be like, who this? Oh, man, look, this is Dak Prescott. Y'all forget, he's coming off a week where he did something no quarterback has done in history. What was that, those 3 rushing touchdowns and 450 passing yards? He was in a situation, if I must remind you guys, where teams were 444 when they had let a team get 39 points and cause no turnovers. But Dak said, that's all good. I'll be the first one to do this. Dak Prescott is looking at Russell Wilson like, hey, dog, you remember me? Oh, yeah, you do. Last calendar year when I beat you head-to-head in the playoffs. Y'all trying to make this a big grand stage week 3. When they saw each other when it mattered most in the chance for the dance, Russell Wilson found himself on the losing end. So if I'm Dak Prescott, I have full confidence. Not only am I bringing a squad with me, but I am the quarterback that can win the day as well.
I would be shocked. I would be appalled. I would be at a loss for words. I would be astonished. I would be amazed. But I don't have to worry about it because it's not going to happen. There ain't no chance that Dak Prescott is about to outplay Russell Wilson. Y'all remember that old commercial? Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. I think that was a Jordan commercial. No, you can't. Yes, I can. That's what Russell Wilson says to Dak Prescott. Bro, anything you can do, I can do better.
Really?
I can do anything better than you. Dak Prescott and Russell Wilson. Russell's the antithesis of Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott can't win the close games. Russell Wilson last year, 11 of his 12 wins decided by 1 possession or less. Dak Prescott can't beat playoff teams, 9-14 versus teams that make the playoffs. Russell Wilson, all he does is beat playoff teams since he's gone into the league, second only to Tom Brady in his record against playoff teams, 25-20. Yes, Marcellus, you talk about the fact that Dak Prescott beat Russell Wilson in their head-to-head matchup. Russell Wilson outplayed Dak.
Oh, stop.
Okay, I'll stop, but then let me give you facts after I stop. Zeke had 137 yards rushing in that game. The Seahawks leading rusher had 29 yards. They've played each other 3 times. After you wipe your tears, let me get to the facts. Here, Marcellus, here. Take the tissue to wipe your tears.
Get it to Russell Wilson.
Now let me get to the facts. Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott, they played each other 3 times. Dak has 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Excuse me, let me never make a mistake on Russell Wilson's statistical name. Russell Wilson has 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Every time they meet, Russell Wilson is better. I got a whole lot of ammo left, but LeVar, I'm going to go ahead and let you go before I keep this thing rocking.
All right. Well, I would be shocked if Russell Wilson is outplayed by Dak Prescott, but not for the reasons that you guys are making it. You're taking a head-to-head approach on this. I'm looking at it from how you guys use your sayings, addition by subtraction, or maybe subtraction by addition. I don't know, but here's what I'm getting at. The starting cornerbacks for Dallas are banged up, bruised up. Diggs has a jacked up shoulder, hasn't practiced. Chidobe, Awuzie, he's banged up. They're banged up. So when I look at Dallas's defense, and I've looked at what I consider to be poor play or less than the standard of what you would assume Dallas would play at, I don't think that they're prepared for Russell Wilson in that offense. I mean, we saw DK Metcalf and those guys. Now, Tyler Lockett is a tad bit banged up too, but he's going to play, it appears. I look at this receiving core and this banged up secondary, which isn't the greatest secondary to begin with right now.
Talk about it.
And I think they're susceptible to big plays in the passing game. So Russell Wilson should be primed to have a very big game, a tremendous game. I think it's going to be difficult when you look at the personnel and how they have underachieved in Dallas thus far. Yes, you had a great comeback, but they did not play well against a team that we could consider to be average to marginal right now with no wins. So I don't see Dak Prescott going into Seattle and having a better day than Russell Wilson.
Okay. Russell Wilson's balling out of control. Dak is playing good to well, depending on how you really want to dice it, based on team success and how he's playing the position.
Where you going with this, Mark?
Because LeVar wanted to bring in facts and mess up a good story because he actually is speaking the best analysis of all of us right now in terms of the quarterback goes against the defense, damn it. But that's not the best TV. So I'm going to give you the best TV because I'm going to put Russell Wilkins versus Dak Prescott. Oh, who's had more big games since they've been in the league? I got to go 2016 since that's only when Dak's been in the league. 2016 and now, who's had more big games in terms of 300-yard games? Dak Prescott. Who has the higher completion percentage, Russell Wilson or Dak Prescott since Dak's been in the league? Dak Prescott. Oh, regular season wins. I chose second favorite stat or favorite between yards per attempt. I don't know. He changes every day. But 41 regular season wins for Dak and 42 for Russell. Damn it, Dak, you lost. Oh, yeah, I said regular season. I didn't say playoffs. Oh, Dak beat Russell in the playoffs, so that's 42-42. Dak Prescott. This dude is next level, but let me give you a little bit more. Forget the rivalry. Please. Let's talk about just how great Dak Prescott really is. Let's talk about who was the best deep ball passer last year in the NFL, ahead of Russell Wilson at number 2 and Patrick Mahomes at number 3. Dak Prescott. Let's talk about who had 7 pass touchdowns, over 40 yards last season. Only him and Patrick Mahomes had that. Dak Prescott. Come on, y'all. We're talking about the 5th most wins since he's been in the league by percentage. 4th all-time passer rating. I could keep going and boring you.
Yeah, you're boring me.
But the point of this is, let's just be real. Dak Prescott has full confidence in himself, and he's coming with a full squad. Do not be overconfident if you're Russell Wilson and these Seahawks, who needed 1 yard to beat the Patriots in their second week together.
I feel like when them people stand up and give an ovation at the Oscars when somebody wins an award, because you, Marcellus, are acting, sir. LeVar, I thought Marcellus didn't invite me to his house right now because of COVID. He didn't want to make a meal for me. I realized his food is just too salty because he cooks the books so bad. He would put too many ingredients, Marcellus.
Lawry's everywhere.
It's too much. It's too much. Think about this.
I'm sorry.
2016, Dak Prescott, he walks into the NFL to Des Bryant on the outskirts of his prime, but right near his prime. Jason Witten, before he retires, he walks into the NFL with Ezekiel Elliott, a top 5 running back, and the best offensive line in football. That's what Dak Prescott inherited. Meanwhile, Russell Wilson, the reason he looks good, the reason he looks so good is because he makes everybody else around him look great. Russ does a ton with the little. Dak Prescott does a questionable amount with a ton. And that is the difference in these two players, which is why I will not be shocked, which is why it won't happen, which is why I don't have to worry about this matchup. Russell Wilson, Marcellus, took DK Metcalf, a person who everybody slept on, 6'4", about 225, chiseled, falls into the second round. How? Because people questioned his ability. They questioned his ability to stay healthy, questioned his ability to run routes. But now with Russell Wilson, he's looking like he was a steal in the second round. How you was steal in the second round? Tyler Lockett, sure, he was a speedster, but nobody considered him a top-tier NFL player. But with Russell Wilson, my God, with Russell Wilson, he looks legit. But meanwhile, Dak Prescott has weapons galore. Weapons galore, and we still don't know how good Dak Prescott is. Marcellus,
we don't?
It's not a fair fight at all. Russell Wilson is going to dominate. But here's my last point I'm going to lead you with. Raggy?
We don't?
Raggy? No, here's my last point I'm going to lead you with, Marcellus. Can we agree that Russell Wilson is better than Matt Ryan? Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Matt Ryan had 4 touchdowns and no interceptions against the Cowboys.
That damn defense, come on.
Imagine what Russ is about to do to them Cowboys if Matt Ryan sat there and undressed them, one defensive back at a time. LeVar, talk to me.
And you know what else you have to throw into the equation is Ezekiel has yet to go over 100 yards in the game rushing so far. So when you're talking about, I'm going to really touch on a point that really could help Dak Prescott. He needs to have his running attack clicking, and getting 89 yards is not going to be good enough for them to be in 4 quarters with the type of team that the Seattle Seahawks are going to be. If they're forced into a situation where they have to try to do what they did last week against Atlanta, they put themselves in a very compromising position. And the reason being is that we're looking at the fact that Ezekiel Elliott is supposed to be the catalyst of this offense. if he's not getting involved in the game plan to the point of where you can keep the game under control, where Dak can actually manage the game and make the plays that he needs to make during the course of the game, then now you're putting it solely on his arm. And I don't see him going into this game the way they were able to pull it out and put the points up late in the game, which is historically the DNA of this offense in Dallas, is that they put points up later on in the game. It's just not a good recipe going into Seattle, and it just doesn't look feasible right now from what we've seen from Dallas to think that they're going to go in there and provide what they need for Dak to be able to outperform Russ.
Hey, LeVar, we got a Sunday show for all that deep analysis and stuff, man.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We over here just trying to eat popcorn.
Season, man.
You over here giving us vegetables.
I'm enjoying looking at it. I'm enjoying looking at it.
We know you're a head coach. We know you're a head coach, and we're going to respect you.
In mode.
And you on the hot seat this year because you're 13-10 as a head coach, so we understand. You got to flex on TV to make them think you know what you're talking about.
Shouts out to Maranatha.
But let me say this final point before I get to the Super Six. If I'm Dak Prescott and y'all keep asking me about Russell Wilson, I'm like, hey, he can't even beat me when it matters, which is the playoffs. Oh, no, but this is Russell Wilson we're talking about. You know, the great Russell Wilson. And Dak's like, you mean the one who can't even get an MVP vote? That Russell Wilson? Same one. Carson Wentz got an MVP vote. Derek Carr done got MVP vote.
But he got more money.
Russell Wilson's teammate.
Got more money.
Oh, no. I'm going to get you there. Russell Wilson's teammate.
Try the soup.
A linebacker got an MVP vote from Bobby Wagner before Russell has gotten a vote.
That's messed up.
And y'all talking about money. Dak, like, next year, I ain't even got to negotiate. And I'm going to make $37 million. How much you make, Russ?
Marcellus, I can hear this argument.
Only 35. So before we go
next year,
and Russell looks bad against Dak, it's time for you guys out there to make your Super Six picks, sticking with Dak and Russell Wilson.
Don't pick Dak.
Cowboys at the Seahawks is one of the matchups. Astro, who you got? Give it to me, the winner, and how many?
Give me the Seahawks, obviously. 35-24. Convincing.
Oh, my gosh. Shut up, Acho. If I showed you my notes, you wouldn't believe me.
Yeah, because you
wouldn't believe me.
What's that? 35-24
Seahawks.
Oh, I love that.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah,
Great
man.
minds think
let me
alike.
go on record and say 28-23. How about them Cowboys? Go down, let's go get that money. Make sure you get your picks in before kickoff Sunday for your chance to win Terry Bradshaw's $250,000. And for top stories, scores, and more, go to the Fox Sports app. And watch LeVar on Sundays, y'all. You know he's going to be there. Coming up, Carson Wentz is struggling while the Eagles are paying him a whole lot of money. We'll tell you if Philly made a bad investment. Next, Speak for Yourself, presented by Hyundai. Welcome back to Speak for Yourself, presented by Hyundai. Let's head to Philly, where the Eagles are a disappointing donut and two.
Hey, chill out.
Carson Wentz says he's, quote, not panicking, but he's struggling big time this season with the league leading 5 giveaways. Eagles made a huge investment on their quarterback with a 4-year, $128 million extension last summer. Joined now by Rosetta Stone, as I call him, of football, Fox NFL analyst Bucky Brooks, who translates football better than anyone else in the world. Acho, let's start with you, though, big dog. Eagles make a mistake paying Carson Wentz?
No, and this is just a silly, stupid question. Duh. Marcellus, come on, bro. You're better than this. The Eagles, when Carson Wentz got paid, was the 4th highest paid quarterback in the league.
Okay.
It's not even like he was the number 1 highest paid quarterback in the league. But I'm going to give y'all numbers that everyone can digest. Nobody right now is saying, did the Rams make a mistake when they paid Jared Goff? Ooh. Even though Jared Goff is making $1.5 million more than Carson Wentz each and every year. Okay, they didn't, right? Great. Now that we're on the same page, Carson Wentz has more starts than Jared Goff. Carson Wentz has more touchdown passes than Jared Goff. Carson Wentz has less interceptions than Jared Goff. Carson Wentz has a higher completion percentage than Jared Goff. So everybody chill with the recency bias. We're all better than that. America, you're better than that. Marcellus, I think you're better than that. You might not be, though. The thing about it is, Carson Wentz is in a 2-game slump. We've seen 2-game slumps before from Rodgers, from Manning, from Brady. Oh, rewind, from Manning, who threw 8 interceptions in 2 games back-to-back once in 2013. So everybody chill out on Carson Wentz. Eagles didn't make a mistake paying him. The mistake that was being made is Carson Wentz putting too much pressure on himself. Easy fix. Wentz, time to make that fix, because the Eagles cannot go down 0-3 or the season is over and done with. So, no, they didn't make a mistake. Everybody chill out. and let the good times roll.
Acho, you came with that defensive take once again, assuming what Marcellus is going to say. No, they didn't make a mistake giving Carson Wentz all that money. However, there are some qualifiers to my answer. Let's start here. I learned this as a parent of 4 children, that once you earn something, never take it away from them. Like my daughter, my oldest daughter, great grades, great character, involved in the community. She got a car. Now, if she slips, something goes wrong, as Acho would say, a 2-game slump, a 2-semester slump for her, can't yank the car from her. But I also don't have to reward her further. and more importantly, I could also have buyer's remorse in that situation. And that's where I land. If I'm the Philadelphia Eagles right now, I have buyer's remorse. My boy over here, Acho, he talking about I cook the books. Well, you know.
What I do?
The pot calling the kettle something over here because 2-game slump. How about since 2018, he's under 500 as a starter? That's not a 2-game slump. If you want to look at him right now, his on-target pass rate is the worst in the NFL. This is Carson Wentz. So let's talk about the 2 games because I don't want to make too much of it, even though I am having a sort of buyer's remorse. I'm stuck with this contract. I'm stuck with this guy, and this guy doesn't know if he can fix himself. First week, it was about the offensive line, and we understand 3 starters were out, a 4th one went down. Week 2, they actually played well up front. People don't give a lot of attention to the Hogs up front, but they played well. You know who didn't play well? Carson Wentz. So when you drafted Jalen Hurts last year and Carson Wentz continues to slide down this hill that is longer than a 2-game stretch, it's a reason for concern if you're the Philadelphia Eagles organization.
Yeah, you should be concerned. I think they have a lot of buyer's remorse. I think when you look at what Carson Wentz was expected to do, let's remember that he was the 2nd overall pick in this draft. When you take people that high in the draft, you have gold jacket expectations. Can we say that Carson Wentz has been a gold jacket player? No, we cannot. We can also say that the Philadelphia Eagles went to the Super Bowl with Nick Foles as their quarterback. Sure, I know we're going to counter back and say that, hey, Carson Wentz played at an MVP level. But have we seen him play at that level since 2017? Have we seen him play at the level that would merit the kind of money that we're talking about? $30+ million. When we are giving that kind of money, we're supposed to have Carson Wentz fix everything. And I know the Carson Wentz supporters are going to say, hey, but he doesn't have everything right around him. He's missing 3 offensive linemen. Who is his number 1 receiver? Maybe Doug Peterson isn't the best play caller. No one cares. You're the franchise quarterback. The expectation is that you're supposed to do the most with the least. He hasn't done it. So I think when you go back in those private moments, when Doug Peterson is looking at the tape, he's wondering, did we make the right investment by hitching our wagon to a quarterback who's not playing well and who also is oft injured?
Y'all disgust me. Bucky, I would expect this from Marcellus.
Facts.
But you, sir,
Facts.
You have proven to be too intelligent to say this nonsense. Think about this, gentlemen. Bucky, you bring drafting 1st-round picks, you expect them to be gold jackets. I didn't even prep this in my notes. But as soon as I heard ding, 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 that sounds ludicrous, I had to look something up. Look at the 1st-round picks. I'm going to just say some 1st-round pick quarterback names. You tell me if they're Hall of Famers. Paxton Lynch, Josh Rosen, Christian Ponder, Tim Tebow, E.J. Manuel, Jake Locker, Brandon Whedon, Josh Freeman, Sam Darnold, Mark Sanchez. These are 1st-round pick quarterbacks. Not everybody's going to be a Hall of Famer, but I digress. Because when you draft a 1st-round pick quarterback, you would also hope to win a Super Bowl sometime during the course of their tenure as your quarterback, 10, 5, 15 years. Please just get us a Super Bowl. In Carson Wentz's 2nd season, the Eagles got a Super Bowl in his 2nd season. You would pay for that Super Bowl. Okay, so maybe Carson Wentz didn't play in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Well. Jared Goff, he got to the Super Bowl and they lost. I bet Sean McVay would say, man, I would have rather played with my backup if we would have won it. They got a Super Bowl, Marcellus. I don't care how you slice it. I don't care how you dice it. They got a Super Bowl. But I knew you were going to go here, so I prepped. I prepped extra long this morning.
Finally you prepped, because that last
and
tape.
prep for this.
Lord.
NFC teams with 3 postseason appearances since 2016 when Carson Wentz got into the league. There are 3 of them. The Eagles, the Seahawks, the Saints. But someone like Marcellus might say, you can't count one of those playoff appearances because Carson Wentz was 5-6. Nick Foles came in and he got into the playoffs. Great. NFC teams with 2 postseason appearances since 2016. Marcellus, this is for you. The Packers, the Cowboys, the Rams, the Falcons, the Vikings. Kirk Cousins for the Vikings, paid. Matt Ryan for the Falcons, paid. Dak Prescott for the Cowboys, you think he'll be the highest paid ever. Aaron Rodgers for the Packers, paid. Jared Goff for the Rams, paid more. So Carson Wentz is doing the exact same thing that all these other quarterbacks that are paid are doing. What y'all are saying actually makes no sense. Y'all are lazy. I don't even lazily a word. Marcellus, correct me. But y'all lazy and abiding by recency bias. I can't even entertain it. Get him, Bucky. You ain't got nothing to get. You ain't got nothing to get,
So here's the thing. And what I love about you, Acho, is like, man, you always bring so many layered arguments that it makes it tough for me to write my notes. But luckily, I have great penmanship because my mom demanded it when I was little. So you talked about 2nd overall pick, and you gave me this list of first-round picks. And that's great that those guys were picked in the first round. But we're talking about sacred territory as a top 5 pick. We expect and we demand more. It's like when you buy those fancy suits, when you go to a custom clothier, you expect it to fit a little different than when you go somewhere and get it off the rack. Right now, I'm seeing Carson Wentz play like an off-the-rack suit. But I won't spend my time talking about that. So you talked about Carson Wentz, and they've been to the playoffs 3 times. How great that is. But you know what happened? See, because when I had my kids learn how to swim, sometimes you have to have a lifeguard. And so notice in 2 of those appearances, Nick Foles had to be the lifeguard. They had to throw Nick Foles in there to save the Eagles. He came in there, won, and led them to the Super Bowl. The next time, he directed them and got them to the playoffs. And so, for all of the great things that Nick Foles has done, he's the guy that is great doing the great season. But I haven't seen him step the game up in the playoffs. And by the way, Acho, that last playoff appearance that I saw, I think he only played 4 or 5 plays. And then lo and behold, who came in? Josh McCown. So Bucky, maybe just
Bucky,
going back to your days in Texas. Going back to your days in Texas before we would go to the club and you're doing all your moves in the dorm room, but somehow you're a wallflower in the club. Maybe that is the Carson Wentz.
Bucky, listen.
He has all the moves in the dorm
and Marcellus,
but when we get to the club, he can't find.
Y'all listen clear. If Carson Wentz ain't a custom suit, then I don't want to wear custom suits. You understand me? If Carson ain't custom, then I ain't custom. Carson Wentz has been to a Super Bowl already, Bucky Brooks. Carson Wentz has gotten his team. Now, I don't care if he didn't play. He was there. Carson Wentz has led his team to the playoffs 2 years. The Eagles have been there 3 years. Only 5 other NFC teams have been that, Bucky. If Carson ain't custom, then this ain't custom. If Carson ain't custom, then I ain't custom. If Carson don't deserve it, then I don't deserve it. But the fact of the matter is, I deserve it, and Carson deserves it.
He has been to the playoffs 3 times. In each of those times, he finished as a spectator. So if you're okay with Carson Wentz being like me, where he purchases his ticket, then go ahead. But the last time that I looked at the playoffs, I saw Nick Foles and Josh McCown.
But here's my thing.
They closed out the game. So,
Bucky,
if you're fine with that,
save me some of the ribs.
No, there won't be no ribs. There won't be no ribs at this cookout. There won't be. If you or Marcellus, if y'all get a first-round pick at quarterback, y'all draft a first-round pick at quarterback, y'all say to yourself, man, he should be the future of this franchise. I hope we win a Super Bowl with him on our team. Do you care? Do you care who the heck played in the game when y'all won it? Or are you just like, thank God it worked out? Carson Wentz was 11-3, and y'all sitting here complaining. Y'all sitting here, there have been how many Super Bowls? 50 plus, 55? I don't even know. I forgot the numbers because I don't know my Roman numerals. I know my Roman alphabet. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta. Excellent. Anyway, if y'all sitting here telling me that the biggest knock on Carson Wentz is that he got his team to the Super Bowl, but he didn't play in the game, oh, well, I apologize. Jared Goff, he got his team to the Super Bowl. He played in the game. He lost. Matt Ryan got his team to the Super Bowl. He played in the game. He lost. Bucky, you talk about being a top 2 overall pick. Oh, like Baker Mayfield. Bucky, you talk about being a top 2 overall pick. Oh, like Jameis Winston. Bucky, you talk about being a top 2 overall pick. Oh, like Marcus Mariota. The best quarterbacks weren't top 2 overall picks. Where was Tom Brady drafted? Where was Aaron Rodgers drafted? Where was Drew Brees drafted? Okay, you got Peyton Manning. Kudos to you. But the fact of the matter is, Bucky, Sir Brooks, when you draft a quarterback in the top 2, there ain't no guarantee they're going to be a Hall of Famer. You hope to win a Super Bowl with them. The Eagles won a Super Bowl with Carson. Marcellus, there ain't no ribs left, okay? You eating turkey, dry turkey.
Bucky, finish yours before I get some of the ribs.
Marcellus, I appreciate you giving Acho another opportunity because Acho gave me some more gas. So Acho, just last week, just last week, we had an opportunity to see number 1 and number 2 square off in Philadelphia. Jared Goff lit the Eagles up. And so now, if I'm Howie Roseman, if I'm Doug Peterson, I'm over there looking across the sideline with envy. Because I've seen Jared Goff not only get my team into the playoffs and take them to a Super Bowl, but I saw him actually run out and play in the game. And then when my guy, Jared Goff, had a bad year, you know what he did? He fixed it and rectified it. And now I'm looking at the Rams, and they're undefeated. And Sean McVay has somehow found a way to unleash the number 1 overall pick. And so maybe, just maybe, the Rams got it right when they made the decision to take Jared Goff over Carson Wentz, because they knew there was only one franchise quarterback in that draft, and his name was Jared Goff.
Yeah. He still has a pulse, but he's still on set. Acho's still here. I think suspect Bucky running away just destroyed this dude. Damn, you just smoked this dude. And I wasn't even done with some of these wins, but next time we talk Carson Wentz, I got some meat left. Coming up, damn, Acho. The last 2 MVPs go head-to-head Monday night. We'll tell you if Lamar Jackson needs to beat Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs to validate his status next. Speak for yourself, presented by Hyundai.
If Carson ain't custom. Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. I got up the canvas. I'm ready to keep throwing these punches. Let's talk about Lamar Jackson. He tore up the record books last season on his way to being named MVP. But he has a big challenge Monday night against the former MVP in Pat Mahomes. Lamar is 0-2 as a starter against Mahomes' Chiefs, but he is 21-1 against everybody else. Head coach Lamar Arrington is back with us. But Marcellus, does Lamar need to beat the Chiefs Monday to validate his status?
No, he does not need to beat the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes to validate his status. You know what his status is?
What's that?
In this conversation right here, Mahomes versus Jackson, Chiefs versus Ravens, the only unanimous MVP I see on the field. Ooh, so guess what? When you get that status, you can't take that status away. When you see someone who gets certified as a doctor forever in their life, you must address them as a doctor. You must address this guy as the star he is, who is Lamar Jackson. So look at the situation who Lamar Jackson is. We're talking about a guy who is next level in terms of his performances to date, and this year is improving on a MVP season by all metrics. So for anyone to try and now take a stab, take a jab at who Lamar Jackson is, obviously he's not watching the game of football like I am on Sundays.
Marcellus, I can't stand that argument. The argument of once you get your doctorate, you're always a doctor. Yes, Lamar needs to beat the Chiefs to validate his status, because you got to validate your status each and every year. My closest friends are Olympians, and they have the saying, once an Olympian, always an Olympian.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if you were an Olympian in the 60s, you're not qualified for the 2020 or 2021 now Olympics. You got to earn that right each and every time you step on the field. Here's the thing, Marcellus. I played at the University of Texas. We had what we'd call 2 rivals, Oklahoma and Texas A&M. We viewed Oklahoma as a rival because they would win, we would win. They would win, and we would win. But A&M, we kind of viewed as a big brother, little brother, because they kept trying to gnaw and claw at us, and we were like, hey, get off my foot, bro, get off my foot. That's the problem right now with the Chiefs and the Ravens. Right now, the Chiefs have done things, accomplished things that the Ravens haven't. And here's a fear. Lamar Jackson can beat everybody else. But if he keeps taking these L's to Patrick Mahomes, then he's going to be getting cradled, not only verbally, but graphically as well. This is what you're going to see, Marcellus. This is what you're going to see if Patrick Mahomes beats the Chiefs again.
He did just get engaged.
He's Lamar and them again. You're going to see pictures on the internet, all of this. Lamar Jackson just, oh, it's cute, Lamar. It's cute what you're doing.
Sorry.
But it's not enough. I don't need that anymore. Because I'm going to end y'all with a couple facts.
Oh, please, please.
Patrick Mahomes is the better quarterback than Lamar Jackson, statistically speaking.
Really?
Mahomes has more touchdowns a game. Lamar has more total yards a game. Mahomes has more passing yards a game. Okay, let's not talk about that, Acho. I don't care about all these passing stats. Talk to me about wins. Okay. Patrick Mahomes is 4-1 in the playoffs. Lamar is 0-2 in the playoffs. Acho, stop talking to me about playoffs, man. Talk to me about head-to-head. Okay. Lamar Jackson is 21-1 against everybody, and he is 0-2 against Mahomes and the Chiefs. The fact of the matter is, Patrick Mahomes dominates Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has to win this game to validate that, yes, he is a star, but can he be mentioned in that same breath as Patrick Mahomes, a superstar?
Wow.
Oh, Acho.
This dude.
In week 3?
Yeah, week 3.
Now, in the playoffs, like how you use the playoffs, the debate, I like that. I like the playoff deal. You know, if we're talking he's in the AFC Championship against Patrick Mahomes, does it validate, solidify his superstar status? Of course. But I'm with Lamar on this one. They asked Lamar about the matchup. Lamar tells them it's just another game. I'm approaching it just like any other game. And I think everybody else should approach it just like it's any other game. And Lamar Jackson's superstardom is not based off of a week 3 win or loss against a team that happens to have a really, really hot football player on the team by the name of Patrick Mahomes. I'm not buying that hype. I don't think people should buy into that rhetoric or that type of hype. When I look at this game, you know what it says to me? You have 2 guys coming out of the gate. Here we go. Here's a racing term, right? Or a racing comparison. You got Gatlin. You got Usain. We used that the other day. We don't know who's Gatlin or Usain right now, all right? Gatlin gets out quick. If he can get you in that first 30, 60, you're going to have a problem beating him. But with Usain comes out a little slower and got to get his legs moving and get him going. I think we're looking at Pat Mahomes right now as Justin Gatlin.
Come on, bro. Don't do that.
And Usain is right on his tail.
Don't do that.
And so right now, if Justin Gatlin gets the win on Sunday, that definitely doesn't mean that he's going to win the race.
Let's talk about it, man. I love that because that's why I went short on my first lap because I knew Acho was.
You out of ammo. Be honest, Marcelo.
No, I didn't even do my ammo. I got 2 stories for you guys right here. And it's interesting that we should always focus in on when it matters most, what's their record against each other. And right now, unfortunately, because Lamar Jackson and the Ravens haven't qualified in advance, we don't know what they are going to do against each other in the playoffs. So that's yet to be seen. But Acho's younger than me, and I poke fun at that a lot of times, but at the same time, everything he knows, I've lived through, even if I don't know it. But everything I know and lived through, he hasn't. And that's the beauty of me being the veteran up here. So let's take him back.
Take me back.
Take him back when he was a youngster. He was just signing up for Pop Warner, selling candy. Mama, can I get a new jersey and $65 worth of candy? That was Acho back when these years were starting. I got 2 stories. Yeah, we had to sell candy to get on the street. Y'all remember
$1 got you a lot.
Yeah, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Peyton Manning and Tom Brady is what we're trying to recreate right here, correct?
Absolutely.
Do you guys know the record of Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady in the first 4 years? Oh, I do, because I remember watching it. Peyton Manning was 0-6 against Tom Brady. Despite Peyton Manning being the superstar and Tom Brady the emerging star because of his success and team success to finally getting up there where Peyton Manning was. And then you know how that rivalry finished. 6-5 advantage Peyton Manning, including 3-0 in AFC Championship games. To your point, LeVar, of how this race can look different if you give it time. But let's go even further. When Acho wasn't even selling candy to be on the Pop Warner field. He didn't even know what football was. Let's go back to the mid-'90s when Brett Favre was out there winning back-to-back MVPs. But Troy Aikman was the one winning Super Bowls. And everyone was like, when you gonna beat, because you're great by yourself, that guy, Troy Aikman. You know what the record was against Troy Aikman? 0-6. So, Acho, your take doesn't even stand the test of time. It doesn't land in history. And right now you're trying to recreate a new narrative, which was already created before and destroyed. So learn from the vet, learn from history, give this one time, and please don't put all the onus on week 3 games.
I'm not going to learn from the vet because the vet be lying. Marcellus says something that it sounded fishy. Marcellus tried to talk to me about...
Why you always lying? Marcellus, stop lying.
Here's the thing, Marcellus.
Misquoted.
Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, they faced each other 17 total times. And Brady leads that head-to-head series 11-6. 11-6. Brady is Patrick Mahomes. When we think about Brady and we think about Manning...
Did I say 4 years? Did I say the first 4 years? What was the record in the first 4 years?
0-6, Manning.
Okay, and then what happened after that?
Okay, and then what happened? And then what happened now? Who's a better quarterback? Who do we think about as a better quarterback? Tom Brady.
Who's a better? You don't want to ask that question on this team. That is a segment tomorrow. Because Peyton Manning is better than Tom Brady. Peyton Manning's better than Tom Brady. Don't do that.
What?
At quarterback,
who is the better football player?
Better winner.
Stop this.
There's winner and better quarterback.
You don't found some gold.
Y'all are going to
Thank you.
I am not
You
saying...
just moved the goalpost, Emmanuel Acho.
You did.
I did not.
Who's better, Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders? Let's not play this game. Come on now.
This is ludicrous.
Go back to the topic.
No. This is now the topic. This is now. Y'all are going to sit here and tell me with a straight face that Peyton, you would rather have Peyton Manning because Peyton Manning is a better quarterback than Tom Brady.
Peyton Manning with Bill Belichick.
Emmanuel Acho, please.
Yeah, I'm not even trying to be.
Okay, well, that's
this is an awkward moment.
He's only do 5 MVPs.
No. So then if y'all are just going by talent alone, then you got to say Patrick Mahomes is the greatest of all time by that statement.
It's not.
By that statement. If that's y'all going,
Peyton
if y'all going off talent alone.
I didn't say talent with Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning couldn't even run, let alone walk fast. But he was the best quarterback I've seen out of those two.
Peyton Manning is arguably
Let me just go to break, and hopefully tomorrow we get into that hot fire right there.
Wow.
Ooh, you stepped in it, Acho. Coming up in our big story, Cam Newton and Dak Prescott are both putting huge numbers up this season. We'll tell you which quarterback deserves a bigger payday next. Oh, I told you were young. I told you were young. Welcome back to Speak for Yourself, sponsored by KFC's $20 fill-up. Drive-thrus open or get delivery by Grubhub. Let's move on to our big story with Cam Newton and Dak Prescott, who both look like they're going to break the bank next offseason. Cam recently said it's about respect, not money. But he is making the Patriots look like contenders while playing on a one-year deal for just over $1 million in Dallas. Dak is coming off a huge comeback while playing under the franchise tag. By the way, Cam is 31 years old and Dak is 27. Acho, which quarterback would you rather pay? Cam or Dak?
Let me pay Cam Newton, Marcellus, because you play to win the game.
So you picked Cam, you said?
I would rather pay Cam Newton.
You'd rather pay Cam Newton?
I'd rather pay Cam Newton because Cam Newton has shown me that he can at least get to the Super Bowl. Cam Newton has shown me that he can at least get to the big stage. Bucky Brooks was on a couple minutes back. I don't know.
He knocked the hell out of you, didn't he? You don't know what show this is.
Get up, Macho. Get up.
You ain't at ESPN no more. Wake up, bro.
Look, Cam Newton has shown me at least he can get to the big one. My coach always told me you can't win the lotto unless you buy a ticket. You can't win a Super Bowl unless you get to the game. Cam has showed me his highs are highs. Yes, his lows are a little bit lower. But Cam Newton's highs are highs. All I need Cam Newton to do is catch lightning in a bottle, and he showed me he can. Not only has he shown me on the field, but off the field, Cam Newton has reminded me of a character that has caught lightning himself. Marcellus, you brought this young man up before. My dog, Static Shock. You remember Static Shock? That cartoon character? They look the same. They got the same hair. They both black.
They look the same.
But they do look the same.
Racial.
Static Shock, when I was growing up, he engineered lightning himself. He could conjure up electricity. He was a cartoon, DC, I believe. But I'm not one of those DC Marvel dudes, so y'all don't cuss me out. Cam Newton has done the same thing. Remember, I don't need it anymore. Remember, 2015, he caught lightning, Marcellus, in a bottle. That's all he has to do for New England. That's all he has to do wherever he goes. For that reason, I'd rather pay Cam Newton.
Yeah, I'm on your same side. I'm with Cam Newton.
Right?
Yeah.
Marcellus?
I'm going to be real. 2 reasons. One, Cam going to come cheaper than Dak Prescott is. Ooh, Dak's floor is going to be Cam's ceiling, just the way that Dak is playing the franchise tag and the way he has leverage in Dallas. He has him over the coals right now. But beyond that, it's because not 2015. It's because Cam, for all things taken into consideration, is still raw, but can be refined. He had an opportunity to really show what that culmination would look like in 2018, but he got hurt. But let's talk about his coach at that year in North Turner, who said, my whole deal is when Cam was healthy and we were there with him in 2018, we were 6-2. Look at the tape. He played his butt off. He was a beast. He's great. But then he got interrupted. He got hurt, and all of a sudden everybody's lost the love for Cam Newton and his abilities. So that rawness that is still being developed to the tune of why is he hitting the ground running in New England? Because he's with Bill Belichick. It's not about catching lightning in a bottle. He's with the master of the universe. Bill Belichick is like, oh, with this ability, with this to work with, watch what I create. And that's why I would go with Cam Newton. On top of the fact that he's going to come cheaper because in a leverage moment, you're looking at a guy who's been in high leverage moments before and won negotiations I shouldn't have won. But I won them because I knew the options and I knew the leverage. They're going to sit across from a table from Cam Newton and be able to say, Yeah, even if you make it through this season healthy, looking at your history, your injury concern, the style of play, all those things are going to make him come at a discount like it did this offseason, and I think that comes into play. We got to bring in our guy, Bucky. He's back. Look out, Acho. I know you're a little post-traumatic stress over there right now, but Bucky, which quarterback would you rather pay, Cam or Dak?
You know, this is tough because I love Cam Newton, and I think he is in a perfect situation in New England. He's going to get paid. But I'm going to go with Dak Prescott in this scenario, and this is why. He's 27 years old. You're the Dallas Cowboys. You know exactly what you have in Dak Prescott. You wanted to see if he could do it without the assistance of a top 5 offensive line, where he's doing it now. He just carved up the Atlanta Falcons, 450 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. He did it with 2 undrafted offensive tackles who are, look, first and second year players. That's exactly what you want to see from a franchise player. And I know everyone would put it on Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield. He has a top running back. He has all of these weapons on the outside. But during the break, I heard you guys have a little conversation about Peyton Manning. And I'm not saying that Dak Prescott is Peyton Manning, but what I am saying is that Tony Dungy and Bill Polian surrounded Peyton Manning with high-end players. And what did Peyton Manning do? He played at a high level. And so when we look at Dak Prescott, and we talked about the amount of wins that he has, tied for 5th most in the league, the fact that he is sitting with the 3rd highest passer rating of any non-first-round quarterback in NFL history, I think he has done it by every metric. Team success, individual success, pay him. I want to be my franchise quarterback because he also doesn't miss any games.
I didn't forget the punches that both these men threw at me in the C block at around, 3:30 Eastern time. I didn't forget these punches.
Okay.
So I'm going to get to you, Bucky. But first, I got to get to the blaspheming man, Marcellus, because Marcellus talks out both sides of his mouth. And don't think I didn't forget, Marcellus. You praised Dak Prescott. You praised Dak Prescott. But now you choose Cam. Please, can we look at Marcellus again? Can we just take a quick gander at this Marcellus and the betrayal he is?
Now, who's had more big games in terms of 300-yard games? Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott. This dude is next level.
This man was singing for Dak. This man was singing for Dak. And now I'm going to call you Judas Wiley, because you were a traitor. You a traitor, Marcellus. So, boom, that's my first shot. But now that you, Bucky, this nonsense. Dak Prescott is Tony Romo. Tony Romo's a phenomenal announcer. He'll probably end up in the Hall of Fame as an announcer, calling plays, etc. But Tony Romo on the field, he didn't actually win a whole lot of games. Tony Romo to Dak Prescott, first 4 years as a starter. Romo 3 Pro Bowls, Dak 2 Pro Bowls. Playoff wins, they each had 1. Romo didn't end up with a lot of playoff wins. First 4 seasons as a starter. Tony Romo, 38 wins, Dak Prescott, 40 wins. Winning percentage, Tony Romo, 70%, Dak Prescott, 63%. We've seen this story before. We read the book. We saw the movie. I trashed the T-shirt because I have far too many T-shirts, but we got that T-shirt. We've seen this before, Bucky. No, Dak Prescott, I wouldn't rather pay him because I know who Dak Prescott is. Dak Prescott's Tony Romo, very likable, not going to get in trouble off the field, highly respected individual. But are they going to win me the big game? No. They'll make some comeback plays that are miraculous. They'll make some great escapes that are miraculous. They may dominate the Giants and the Washington football team, but when push comes to shove, they're not going to win playoff games. And I need you, and I'm paying you to win playoff games. So that's your quick 2-piece. Bomb. No
So you know what? I like that, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little honey on that biscuit, because that's how I like mine. So here's what we're going to do. And it's not your fault, Acho, because you're part of a franchise where I sat up on that desk and I heard people say that Kyle Allen is a better player than Cam Newton. And I had to defend Cam Newton for almost a year and a half. That's what I heard. And then when I looked at the thing, and look, I don't want this to be a Twitter blurb that they put out there and they think that I'm disrespecting Cam Newton. But I think Cam Newton only has 3 winning seasons on his ledger. And so when I talk about this, what I'm talking about is long-term possibilities based on where we are now. 27 years of age, the way that Dak Prescott plays, the success that he is beginning to have when they're putting it all on him. Yes, I'm willing to bet on Dak Prescott. And just remember, since we're talking about this franchise, speak for yourself. I think it was like a year or so ago that I said that Dak Prescott is going to be a $40 million player. well, I'm going to up the ante. Based on what we've seen this year, $45 million is going to be the going rate. Dak Prescott is about to get paid, and paid in a major way.
Yes, he is. And dare you show one little clip, speaking of clips, and they put me out there in Cyberverse looking a damn mess when you know I love Dak, and I love Dak. But you know me, I'm all about my money, so I'm always trying to get the most but pay the least. Think about that. I know Dak Prescott's going to perform. I know Dak Prescott is a beast. But he is going to cost, like Bucky said, minimum of $40 million because of Deshaun Watson's deal. Minimum of 31 this year, 37 next year if they want to franchise him, and 54 if they franchise him again. But they won't. Okay, let him hit the open market. There he goes where Bucky said, 45 mil. That's what Dak's going to get. Meanwhile, I'm looking at this New England situation. I'm like, okay. I think Cam Newton and Dak Prescott right there. Cam has a lot more raw ability still that can be refined. So the ceiling may even be higher for Cam Newton. But guess what I do know? He ain't going to cost the same. New England still held on to his rights. They have the franchise tag in a suppressed market next year because of cost. They think it's going to be around $25 million for Cam Newton to stay a Patriot if they decide to franchise him. 25 or 45. That's where the conversation goes for me. Not necessarily performance, but price. Coming up, Kevin Durant says the NBA championship in the bubble can have a little more respect for those guys who are the champs. I don't know if I believe that, but we'll tell you what we believe next. Speak for yourself.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Let's head to the NBA, where LeBron James and the Lakers are 2 wins away from the finals, and Jimmy Butler and the Heat are 1 win away. Some have said there would be an asterisk on whoever wins the title in the bubble, but KD, yes, Kevin Durant, he thinks this year's champ will have as much respect as past champs, saying, quote, yeah, of course you still have to play against these dudes. I think it will be respected for sure, probably more respected. It's tough for the boys in there. They've been away from everybody for that long. To be the last one standing, that's going to be tough. CB Chris Broussard is back with us, but Marcellus, you up first. You agree with Kevin Durant that the title run will be respected?
No, I agree with Shaquille O'Neal, who I'll get to, who thinks this is going to be an asterisk for whoever wins this championship. And Kevin Durant says, tough for them boys in there. Is it? Is it really? Like, think about how the boys even got in there. They had a almost 5-month break. Imagine when coaches out there killing you, gassers, war of attrition, lactic acid, you're dying, and coach says, stop. Now go take a break and come back and do it. Guess what? When you come back and do it, it's not as difficult if you just had to continue through the season. So already these guys are starting in better ground, higher ground than the typical season. Then we see guys who come in and they didn't even have to play the full 82 games. The season got cut short. Then all the teams weren't involved in the bubble. Some made it, some didn't. And then they had a play-in situation where teams that were lesser actually played themselves into the playoffs. Then you got no home court advantage, which means also you don't have to deal with the road. You don't have to deal with the travel. You don't have to deal with the naysayers, the criticism, the negative energy, whatever you want to call that. You have none of that to deal with. You know how easy it is when after a game you just got to walk to the bus and be in your room in 5 minutes, and then to go to the game, you just got to go back, put on your flip-flops and go right to the facilities, and you're on the court. It's just not enough adversity, not the same terrain that we're used to seeing going forward. So to me, not that tough on these guys. I'm with Shaquille O'Neal, who I'll bring up next lap. It's an asterisk.
What I love about this show is that Marcellus is incredibly intelligent. And so everything he says, Marcellus, everything you say is going to be said with intelligence. So you and I can look at the same picture and have totally different vantage points. Because I completely disagree. You talk about the 3-month layoff and you say that as if it's a positive. But again, think about this. If you park your car in a garage on empty and you wait inside your house for 3 months and you walk back into that car that's been parked in your garage on empty, it's not going to be filled up unless you take it to the gas station and fill it up. Yeah, they got 3 months off, but they really couldn't go to gyms. They couldn't really get massages, couldn't really take care of themselves. So you got 3 months off, but it's not like it really did you any good. Okay, you talk about, there's no home court advantage, and so the players don't have to travel, don't have to fly. To that I say, There's no home court advantage. So the number 1 seeds, the number 2 seeds, the teams that are more likely to win a championship, they lost their greatest strength. They lost their greatest ally, home court. You played 60 games. The Lakers played roughly 63 games before the bubble. That means all those games were for naught. You got the 1 seed, and you ain't got nothing to show for it. Okay, on top of all that, now you have to deal with the mental aspect, something you know far more about than I. You sequestered from your family, from your significant other, from your, you better not on too much for you.
I'm about to say, so far it sound like advantages.
You better not on too much.
4 months without all that.
Before you get back home to your wife and kids.
Baby. I'm focused.
Look, the fact of the matter is this.
So far, good.
Those of us who paid attention to the bubble and who understand what the players had to go through, we will put respect on this championship. Yes, you may look back and say, oh, they played a shorter season. Oh, they got a 3-month break. And you may look back and be a little ridiculous and assume it doesn't merit respect. But to those who know, definitely deserves respect.
No.
Marcellus, the Clipper bitterness is just teeming, coming out of your pores today. I mean, I got to ask you this, really.
Yes.
If the Clippers won this championship as you expected, as I expected, as many NBA people expected, would you have put an asterisk by them?
Yeah, I actually got film, and I'm on record saying that. Just like the parade where nobody would have been there. Ain't nobody tripping. This would have been a perfect year for the Clippers to win. No one's going to celebrate with us. Why didn't we win it?
I never am down with the negative asterisk. Okay, there's no asterisk by Tim Duncan's first championship, a lockout-shortened season in 1999, or LeBron James' first championship, a lockout-shortened season in 2011. I could even point to, you know how many championships I could really scrutinize and put an asterisk by? How about last year, Toronto? Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson are hurt. Asterisk. How about 2015, Golden State's first title? Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love hurt. Asterisk. How about 2016, one of the greatest comeback in finals history? Draymond Green suspended for Game 5. Asterisk. How about Isaiah Thomas and the bad boy Detroit Pistons' first championship? Magic Johnson injured, played 75 minutes in the whole series. Asterisk. I could go on and on and on. There is no asterisk. Every championship is legitimate, but I disagree with Durant. He's saying it's going to be a positive asterisk. No, they all are going through the same thing. It's not like the Miami Heat or the LA Lakers are going through something that any other team in the bubble isn't. They all have to endure the same challenges. They're all apart from their family. They're all doing without female companionship. They all don't have to travel. They all are, you know, everybody's going through the same thing. So there's no asterisk, negative or positive. It's just a legitimate NBA championship like every other season.
Wow, wow, wow. You guys are hilarious. Like, injuries aren't a part of the game. So every one of those examples you gave me were injuries, and that's built into the equation of a normal championship. Hey, not my fault you guys to do it.
Lockouts.
Well, the lockout situations, Look, when I used to go to barbershop, I heard that because people used to say that, but you're right. It's not a loud roar for that as an asterisk, but people have mentioned it, whispered it. But that said, Acho used another horrible example, the same one he used in week 1 when we started working together, had me doubting if we were going to last this long. Talk about his car in the garage. And your car, if you don't put gas in it and you just leave it there, it ain't going to start and it's going to have more gas. Your car ain't got hamstrings. Your car ain't dealing with atrophy and the fact that
you have 3 Teslas, okay? You have 3 Teslas. What you know about putting gas in a car?
Good point. Okay. Good point. That's what you said week 1. We're still here. All right, here's the thing. I want you guys to understand that this is not Clipper hate. This is not. I know y'all don't believe me because y'all know I'm a Clipper lover. But let's take it from a Laker great instead of this Clipper hate you want to say. What did Shaquille O'Neal say about this season? He said to try and come back now and do a rush playoffs as a player. Come on, y'all. Any team that wins this year, there's an asterisk. They're not going to get the respect. But any team that gets it done, asterisk on that championship. That's not Clipper hate. That's Laker great. He's talking to you guys because he knows everyone's going to look side-eye at a team that wins it all when you didn't even have to play all the games. And then you saw the emergence of guys that in normal situations, will we have seen that same emergence? One of my favorite players right now is Tyler Hero, who went out there and gave you 37 as a rookie.
That boy cold.
But be real, y'all.
That boy cold.
If we had to finish this season all the way through and he had to deal with the home road, all the crowds and all the issues and travel, I don't know. Jamal Murray, Devin Booker, all these guys they were already good to great. And then they went notches up. And I think it's because this is fertile ground for success, and it's not going to be looked at the same. Coming up, there are all 11 undefeated teams in the NFL. We'll put them under the microscope and tell you which one of those 11 are unproven and unstoppable. Next, speak for yourself. Tonight on Thursday Night Football, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Harvard, and the Dolphins take on Gardner Minshew and the Jaguars exclusively on NFL Network. Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Time now to bring in our social media manager, Darnell Smith, and all them little waves he got going on up there. All right, Darnell.
I see it.
Looking like Joe Torre of Poetic Justice. All right, big dog. Darnell, what you got going?
What's going on, fellas, man? So check this out. So earlier today, I posted about the 11 NFL teams that have started the season 2-0.
Okay.
Asking our fans which ones were actually legit. So I wanted to take a few of the 2-0 teams and bring it to the show and have you guys tell me which one is unproven and which one is unstoppable. So let's get straight to it,
Let's get to it.
Aight. You got the 2-0 Rams, who have wins over the Eagles and the Cowboys. LA has a plus 21 point differential, which is third best in the entire league. And Jared Goff looks like his old self with the fifth best passer rating in the NFC. So, Acho, I'm going to start with you. Are the Rams unproven or unstoppable?
Man, to me, the Rams are unproven. Let's be real. They 2-0, and they're 2-0 versus the NFC least. They're the NFC least for a reason. First win, they beat the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are perennially 8-8 over the last 10 years.
Don't do this.
And then you beat the Eagles. But Marcellus just finished telling me Carson Wentz don't deserve to be an NFL quarterback. Carson Wentz should be in the Canadian You know what? Carson Wentz should be on LeVar Arrington's high school team. That's what Marcellus just finished telling me. So how can you tell me that these Rams are unstoppable? They're not unstoppable. Not yet. They're still Marcellus. They still unproven.
No, this team is unstoppable. First of all, what's going to stop them? In the NFC, there's no one to be scared of. Wide open terrain. Last year, you're trying to use that against them. 9-7. While they were backpedaling, having hiccups. That's a bad season for them. They went 9-7, and this is a well-oiled machine. Sean McVay's found his groove. Jared Goff found his groove. And don't talk about the defense led by who? Aaron Donald. Oh, you thought that was the biggest name? Well, maybe Jalen Ramsey got something to say with it as well. This team is squad up on both sides of the ball. This is a machine coming at you. Last year was a blip. This year, they're back on track. All right, Darnell, what you got? Who's next?
Who next? Yes, sir. Let's move to the Las Vegas Raiders, who have wins over the winless Panthers and the Saints. The Raiders scored 34 points in back-to-back weeks, fueled by the running back Josh Jacobs, who has the fifth most rushing yards in the NFL. So, all right, big dog, Marcellus, are the Raiders unproven or unstoppable?
Unstoppable. Who gonna stop the Raiders? Now, I'll be real. That's a tough division right there. You got the Chargers, you got the Chiefs, and then whatever Denver wants to do depends on the week. But Josh Jacobs, little chunk. Ooh, that's a running back, and that's what you need in terms of ground game for a quarterback in Derek Carr that is better than advertised. And let's just be real. Even this Chucky coach is better than advertised. A lot of people don't want to give John Gruden the credit because they want to say he's a caricature. No, Chucky knows his X's and O's. So if you look at this offensive production, on top of that, what Waller's able to do at the tight end position, moving the chains, we saw what they did to New Orleans, and New Orleans is a real team. So, yeah, I'm believing in those unstoppable Raiders.
Huge win for the Raiders on primetime TV. But them boys still unproven. Huge win, though. 34 points in the first two games. That's more 34-point games than they've had in the last 3 seasons combined. So shout out to John Gruden for getting the boys on track.
Okay.
But they still unproven to me, gentlemen. They beat the Panthers. Panthers are a bottom 3 team in the National Football League. Then they beat the Saints. Again, kudos to the Raiders. Huge win against the Saints. But the Saints are playing without a top 10 player in the NFL. But more importantly, the reason they're unproven to me, Marcellus, beat the Raiders next 4 games. You got to play the Patriots, best coach team in the league. You got to play the Bills, the toughest team in the league. You got to play the Chiefs, the best team in the league. And then you got to play the Buccaneers, the team with the most potential in the league. If the Raiders can somehow come out of that gauntlet with the record of 3-3 by the beginning of November, by then I'm going to say they've proven a little bit more.
We're doing it now. We're doing it right now.
They unproven. What you got for me, D? Who's next?
This dude.
Who's next? Last but not least, man, let's end with Wiley's former team, the 2-0 Bills. Buffalo was only allowing 16 points per game, second best in the NFL. And get this, Josh Allen is leading the league in passing yards. So, Acho, answer me this. Are the Bills unproven or unstoppable?
Yo, the Bills? They unstoppable. I'm going to give you that one. The Bills are unstoppable. Think about this. The Bills are 2-0 for back-to-back seasons. That's the first time since the early 90s, 91 and 93, when the Bills were in Super Bowls. You remember them early 90s days, Marcellus.
I heard of
there, though. But you remember them, though.
Yeah.
No, the Bills are unstoppable. Defense, it's been stout since last year.
Yep.
Coaching, top tier, top 5 coach in the NFL. But beyond that, Josh Allen, look at you. Snaps for Josh Allen. 600 or 700 yards through the air, 6 touchdowns, no picks. We've seen that 3 other times in NFL history. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes. As long as Josh Allen keep playing like that, the Bills are unstoppable.
Yeah, they unstoppable, but we don't need the Love Jones finger snaps. We don't need that. You better slow down, boy. Hey, they were a playoff team last year. And Josh Allen took his lumps in that playoff game. Boy, running backwards, throwing the ball backwards. He looked like, Mama, come save me. But now look at him. What, you leading the league in passing yards, third in quarterback rating, on top of the addition of Stephon Diggs. This is a real offense with real coaching and a real defense. The Bills. Buffalo Bills. Mafia's in the building right now. And I protected my season tickets and status in Buffalo. I know y'all gonna roll this year. Y'all unstoppable. Thanks, Darnell, big dog. Keep it going. Make sure the waves connect one day. And coming up, Drew Brees and Sean Peyton have the second most wins ever by a player-coach combo. But we'll tell you if the duo has actually underachieved in New Orleans. Next.
To speak for yourself, let's talk about the Saints, where Drew Brees and Sean Peyton are in their 15th season together. The duo has stacked a resume with the second most wins by a player and coach combo behind only Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. They won a Super Bowl together, but that was a decade ago. Take a look at Brees and Peyton since their 2009 Super Bowl. They have a 4-6 playoff record and have been under 500 4 times. Lamar is back with us. Good to see you, LA. But Marcellus, is the Drew Brees, Sean Peyton duo actually underachieved?
Not at all. Unreal how likability and connotation just enters in every conversation, and you start to root for what you want to affirm instead of being informed about. Let's talk about this one, because in week 2, all of a sudden, Drew Brees not having a great game because he didn't have Michael Thomas out there, who's an NFL reception leading receiver, setting NFL records last year in receptions. Don't have your best receiver out there, and all of a sudden everyone wants to talk about air yards. Where's Drew Brees? Oh, look at his air yards. And Drew Brees had to take notice of that. But let's talk grander. Have they underachieved? Oh, this is interesting because Drew Brees did in New Orleans the same thing that Peyton Manning did for the Indianapolis Colts. But it seems like Peyton Manning gets way more love than Drew Brees is getting in New Orleans for what he's accomplished. So before Peyton Manning was Indianapolis Colt, 13 games in 1999 they won. The Colts hadn't won double-digit games in a season in over 20 years before that. So let's use these two guys against each other. Same amount of seasons, basically. Oh, regular season wins, pretty much the same. Conference championship game appearances exactly the same. Super Bowl appearances, 1 fewer. And Super Bowl titles, we got the same. You mean to tell me that y'all gonna give all this love to Peyton Manning and what he did for the Colts and built that organization? When I used to watch the Saints, the paper bags, do you guys remember those days? Bobby Hebert out there and Ironhead Hayward out there and the paper bags all through the stadium. Yes, and that's what New Orleans used to be before Drew Brees. Y'all don't know, the Colts used to be horrible too. I think they both deserve the same amount of love since they both brought a title to those places.
Fellas, this isn't a block where you need your notes. We just talking, Marcellus. I don't need all these playoffs. No, they've definitely underachieved. And it's very, very simple. You give me a top 10 head coach and a top 10 quarterback, top 5 head coach, top 5 quarterback. Historically in the NFL, I'm at least going to get 2 Super Bowl appearances out of that duo. At least.
How?
We can talk Brady, Belichick. We can talk Walsh, Montana. We can talk Carroll, Russell Wilson. We can talk Staubach, Landry. We can talk Aikman, Jimmy Johnson. Heck, we can talk Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. They already 1 for 1 in their 3rd year together. If you give me a top 5 coach and a top 5 quarterback, I'm going to get at least 2 Super Bowl appearances out of that. We can talk Roethlisberger, Mike Tomlin. Like, Marcellus, be real. Talk whoever you want.
Be real.
Give me a combination of 2 top 10 coach, top 10 QB. I should see multiple chips.
Can I jump
but you
in?
give me
jump in.
I should see multiple chips.
Top 10 is just vague. What's top 10?
So Brees isn't the top 10 quarterback?
Can I ask you a question?
Please.
Can I ask you a question? So you're assuming that they're top 5 at their professions. Top 5 coach,
or
top
top
5
10.
quarterback.
Or top 10. If you want to
Or
loosen it
top
up,
10.
loosen it up.
Then how are you an underachiever?
You're underachieving because you have, I said this, expectation minus reality.
Hey, Marcellus.
No,
Marcellus.
I'm going to let y'all get your
Marcellus.
answer.
Hold on, Acho. I'm going to ask you
Acho.
one more time. I'm going to ask you one more time. If you're making them top 10 and top 5, quarterback, coach, in tandem, how do you qualify that they're top 10?
You do need those notes. You remember that paper you just balled up?
Go get it. Go get that other one. Here's my other one.
All right.
Achievement is based on success, Lamar. Achievement is based on chips. Achievement is based on Super Bowls.
So it's ranking. So it's ranking. So if they're top 5, top 10, they can't be underachieving. If they top 5, top 10.
If you are a top 5, top 10 talent and you don't have the chips to show for it, then you're underachieved. Aaron Rodgers, people would make the argument. Aaron Rodgers is one of the most talented quarterbacks of this generation. But if Aaron Rodgers leaves his career with 1 chip, people will say he underachieved. Because your talent based on what you actually achieve.
You're basing your expectation off of what they've shown you they're good enough to achieve.
Sure.
So if they don't achieve more than what you expected them to achieve, that does not downgrade or downplay how good they truly are. You just expected them to do more. But that's created off of an expectation of what they've already shown you and what they've accomplished. Right?
No, the expectation is to win a Super Bowl.
Too easy.
Like, this isn't this.
First Bucky Brooks, now
making no
LeVar.
sense.
What is going on with you, Acho?
Marcellus, you just a hype man. You're out here side betting. Put your own money in. Put your own money in.
You're not even ready for the heavyweights. You got to work your way up to this division.
Wait, hold on now. Hold on. I'm not no easy win.
I didn't say you were.
And I'm the same age as you are.
You ain't this muscle. You ain't 285.
Here's what I'm saying, LeVar, because I get where you coming from.
Not anymore.
What I'm saying is this. Achievement in the NFL, LA, it's a Super Bowl.
Yep.
If you want to say it's not, then I'll bow out of this conversation.
That is the ultimate.
Yeah.
No, I won't disagree with you on here. That is the ultimate achievement.
Of course.
And you said at least 2.
At least give me 2.
You said at least 2 Super Bowls.
2.
Well, can we identify the fact that it was a referee that held them out of their second
I thought
Super
about
Bowl
that.
appearance?
Think about this. You let the Minnesota Miracle, Case Keenum, you let a referee with the Rams, and then you lose to Kirk Cousins. But if we're being real and we got to identify this, why were those games that close?
It shouldn't even be that close.
Thank you.
It shouldn't be that close.
Like, that's my point.
I can sympathize, and I'm going to give it to you, Marcellus. I can sympathize with where you're coming from. But in order to have a conversation of this magnitude, you have to be deserving of the conversation.
Yes.
So for me, they have earned the right to be in the conversation of had they underachieved because of how great they had been. They delivered a Super Bowl. If we want to really go there have been some greats. We look at Archie as one of the greats to ever do it, and he didn't sniff a Super Bowl with the New Orleans Saints. So to me, when I look at the greatness of Drew Brees and Sean Peyton, I'm not going to say they've underachieved when they've done something for that city that no other team has ever done. And I'll stop there and give it to you, Marcelo.
Yeah, man. Look, to me, this reminds me just of the Michael Jordan era where you saw so many other greats, top 10 players with top 10 coaches in situations. I can look at Hakeem Olajuwon, who had to wait for Jordan to retire for 2 years to go get his. When you're playing against Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and your name is Drew Brees, you just got to kind of like find your way to get yours, and he got his. Now, should he have gotten more? Now you're going into a different conversation because you're going off of your expectation. I was there when Drew Brees was drafted. Day one, saw his first pass. First of all, Acho, he was a second rounder.
Of course.
So when you're a second rounder, I don't even think you're supposed to climb up to be a top 10 ever, and that's where he's climbed. But now he climbs himself because of his performances into the conversation. But then once he gets to that top tier, you want to say, but you didn't do enough. When if you judge a man by the distance traveled, he shouldn't even been in this conversation in the first place. You can't use the same thing against him that you used to get him there.
He got into the conversation. Expectation minus reality equals disappointment. The expectation, once Drew Brees got into that conversation with another great in Sean Peyton, was that they would at least get me to another few championships. Since Drew Brees got to their championship, NFC South, Atlanta Falcons, they've been to a Super Bowl. NFC South, Carolina Panthers, they've been to a Super Bowl. Drew Brees and Sean Payton, the tandem, have underachieved. Individuals, sure, say what you will, but collectively, a lack of total achievement, which is hosting
how many Hall of Famers?
Coming up, Uncle Jimmy will give his thoughts on the day's show. You can't miss this one. That's Uncle Jimmy. Think for yourself.
Man, you got knocked out twice. Before we go, let's bring in Uncle Jimmy. So what are your thoughts on today's show and Acho getting off the canvas twice?
Hey, Wiley, you get a D for today.
Why?
Because your take on Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys is positively the dumbest thing I done heard all damn day.
But how?
You do realize that you got more faith in Dak than Dak. That's why Dak had to text you and say, hey, man, would you please stop?
Dak's a beast.
He don't need that extra pressure. Because he knows if Marcellus Wiley endorses you, that's equivalent as the kiss of death on his career. You think I'm kidding? Ask the Clippers. Ask the Chargers. Ask Dallas. Ask the Bucks. Hey, Ocho, it's like your mama said. Chinadu, what is really wrong with you crazy-ass folk?
Chinadu, there go that dude. He's acting like an idiot. He's an idiot again.